Have you ever felt like God is just not active in your life? Like you're praying and it feels like you're just praying to a wall, and you begin to pretty much question everything. I know I have. I absolutely have. And I feel like because I have a Christian platform, everybody probably thinks that I have it all together. Like I have something that other people don't have. Like my spiritual senses are somewhat heightened, but it's not true. It's not true at all. I use this platform in a sense of obedience. Um, I there are times where I'm like, man, I'd really like to walk away from that. And somehow, by the grace of God, He gives me the fuel that I need to keep going. And so I do. However, I have had intense dry periods and felt really discouraged. And I'm making this video because I'm actually just coming out of a dry spell. I got super discouraged. I am still in a sense of a fight, if that makes any sense. But basically, let me preface this by saying, do not do this. Do not do this. But and I'll give you some backstory. I love witnessing to people. It is like hands down probably one of my favorite things to do on this earth, other than just like be with my family. I love it so much. I love the feeling of the Holy Spirit working through me, and I always feel it when I witness to people. And I am constantly thinking about how I can witness to different types of people. So I have a habit of going into rabbit holes of all kinds of things, like the Islamic faith. And recently it was people who have deconstructed from Christianity. And whoa, did the enemy speak death into me while watching those videos. But the thing is like, I'm like, how can I witness to those people effectively if I can't understand them? And if any of you know me, you know that I have a degree in sociology, and so like behavior and people and like all of these things really excite me. And so I like to do studies on that. Someone asked me recently what kind of like homemakers and people that I like to watch, and I really don't watch a ton of other people like me. I watch a lot of other different content, and I can tell you guys about who I enjoy later in another video. But anyway, I got into these deconstruction videos, and, you know, just hearing things, it was like, wow, that's really intense, and feeling like these people have a lot of trauma, a lot of great points, a lot of valid points. But ultimately what I found was that they come from a place of spiritual abuse, whether that be word of faith, charismatic circles, a lot of legalism, a lot of really bad spiritual abuse. And I think that that is what really pushes for their deconstruction later on in life. They start to question everything. Is this control? Is this real? Is this not real? Does God even talk to me? They feel like, they just end up feeling like it's all, like a hoax, like it's all fake. Like they don't feel like their prayers go answered. And there's a lot to unpack there. So ultimately what's happening here is this feeling of spiritual desertion, like God is in hiding, or maybe it doesn't even exist. And I think that people get into that mindset because of things being dry. So I wanted to make this video. I want to make this video because I need the encouragement. I needed to do this research because I needed the Lord to pull me back into Him. And then I wanted to make it for you all, because if me as a what I would consider a strong believer, if I'm feeling this way, how many other people feel this way too? Okay, so I am going to use my cheat sheet here. I'm not going to be like crazy militant about being formal today. I just want to get this out, and that's usually how I feel when I do a sit-down video. A lot of my homemaking videos can be quite scripted and perfect and no ums and this and that. I'm not going to do that today. I just want to talk about this. So let's talk about the two ways that spiritual desertion can manifest. It can manifest objectively and it can manifest subjectively. So objectively, it looks like God is no longer working for us. And then we've got subjectively is we don't feel his presence. We don't feel his glory. We're not having those amazing emotional responses that we used to have. And I think something really important to talk about is this point right here. It says the term spiritual desertion and desertion do not appear in the ESV Bible, and we should be careful not to impose non-biblical meanings onto biblical realities. And that's a good point. That's a really good point. The first thing that we need to do when we get into these moods, right? That's kind of what we do. We get in these moods and we create scenarios that don't exist. And I think that we need to desperately come back to God's unwavering promises. In Hebrews 13:5, he says, I will never leave you nor forsake you. We need to ask ourselves, how does the feeling of desertion relate to this promise? How does it relate to this promise? It doesn't. It doesn't relate to it at all. He promises us that he's never going to leave us. So if you're not feeling him, if you're not having revelations and emotional responses and this and that, it doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It means nothing. He is always with us. He promises not to leave us. One of the first things that I felt like the Holy Spirit said to me as I was watching these videos is, don't lean on your own understanding. These people are rationalizing everything with their carnal, fleshly, what they can see nature. It's like they completely disregard any spirituality at all, and they're leaning on their own understanding. And that's what the Lord warns us against. He says, do not lean on your own understanding. And that has stuck with me, and I hope that sticks with you. Also, in 1 Corinthians 13:12, it says, now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. And this suggests that there is some type of hiddenness there. There is that we cannot see everything, and the Lord is like, you can't see it clearly. You only know in part right now. You see so dimly, but eventually you will know in full as I know in full. As I fully know you, you're gonna fully know me, and we're gonna walk with him again, and we just need to continue to persevere. The Bible also warns us in 1 Thessalonians 5:19. It says, do not quench the spirit. When these people deconstruct, or when people fall away, backslide, whatever you want to call it, they typically slowly over time start to quench the spirit. And what that means is that they start picking up some sinful attitudes and natures and things that they had felt like they were brainwashed into believing was wrong, and they start to pick up these things. And what that does is that separates them from the beauty of Christ. You know, these people once were indwelled in the Holy Spirit, and there are different variations of how quenched we can be with the Holy Spirit depending on our spiritual disciplines. And the farther that we get away from that, the farther that we get from seeing the beauty of Christ. And I think all of this just goes to show the fight that is part of the Christian faith. It is a fight to see. It is a fight to feel. It is a fight to continue to savor what Christ did on the cross for us. In 2 Timothy 4:7, it says, I have fought the good fight. I have finished the race. I have kept the faith. That doesn't mean that we're not going to have dips in the valley, and and that doesn't mean that there's not times where we're going to not feel discouraged and we're not going to understand God's will and like what he's doing behind the scenes. Sometimes people have to go through some crazy things. If you guys have seen my testimony, if you haven't, I'm going to link it in the description below, but like I went through some really crazy things, and I think that in some degree I sugarcoated that testimony. I feel like I should make maybe a new one, but we go through some insane things for the Lord to draw us back in. And so I feel like sometimes he's like, I don't like that, but I'm gonna use it. Okay, he wastes nothing, absolutely nothing. And above all the things that I found when going down this rabbit hole, the biggest issue was faith. It was this complete destruction, lack of faith. I have a friend who his wife is an unbeliever, and I talk to her a lot, and you know, she's a realist, and like I get that. Like I used to be too, and sometimes I don't understand why the Lord allowed me to have the sleep paralysis and have face-to-face encounters with actual demons in order to prove his existence to me. And maybe he didn't, maybe he wasn't, I'm sure he used that, but maybe it just happened. I don't know. I don't know why I have been given the ability to see when so many other people do not get that opportunity. I don't have answers for that. And like I said, she's kind of a realist. She wants hard facts. She wants more. She wants more. And I was talking with him, and I was like, you know, I actually do understand that. I understand that desire to want proof. And you know what he said to me? He said, no, it's not okay, because that's what faith is. And I was like, whoa. And it's just, he's so right. That's exactly what faith is. The issue is not in God's location. It is in our faith and our sanctification. We can see God when we are faithful, when we have faith, when we are obedient. We can't, because our lives look so much better. Our lives look so much better than they were before. Our relationships get better. And then in the sanctification, we see God in the sanctification. You know, it's like, I may not always feel like I'm hearing from God and having all these emotional experiences, but you know what I can look at visually and see? I can see myself approaching spring and summer and being like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna wear that this year. I think I'm gonna toss that and get something new. And that's just like his slow approach of sanctifying us. And that just shows that the Holy Spirit is in me, and that the Lord is manifesting himself in that way. It's something so much different than what we think. And yeah, I really hope that this video encouraged you. Making it encouraged me. This is such an answered prayer from the Lord. I told God, I said, whoa, I know that I am playing in the devil's playground. I was writing in my journal, and I was like, I really need you to pull through right now. I need you to help me right now be strong in my faith, and help me with this feeling of doubt when I'm trying to study up on this. And so I hope that it helped you. I hope that this video blessed you today. And thank you guys so much for watching and being here. Lord willing, I will see you all at the next video. Bye.